Well, hello and welcome along to Breakout Racing League. This is the PC, this is the Tier 1, and this is a very wet Canadian Grand Prix. I believe it's round 10, if I'm not mistaken anyway. You saw that earlier on there because the title on the Twitch at the moment, that's just been streamed obviously temporarily to one of the league members. Doesn't show the actual right information that's up there. Joining me in the commentary box this evening is very last minute once again, Belzy. I don't know. I just give you a call, fly you in, and you're here. So how are you doing this evening, mate?
Oh, I'm doing wonderful. I've been just enjoying my day and got a nice little 3-day weekend here. It's Easter weekend, so just relaxing. And of course, I'm never gonna pass up the opportunity to commentate alongside yourself.
Well, thank you very much, mate. I do appreciate that. Obviously, I think the lads there at Breakout Racing League appreciate it. They have another race that's going on at the moment on the Twitch channel. Is the reason why we can't stream directly to that. We had some little bit of issues there trying to stream to the YouTube channel that they also have, so that we can kind of keep all the racing entertainment. But once again, if any of you guys have this Twitch URL, obviously you can watch it live or watch the replay back later. So it's absolutely bucketing down here in Canada. You think it'd be snowing, but it's not.
It is raining in qualifying, but it is dry in the race. I wanted to give you guys an update before I go back.
That's excellent.
Very nice.
Thank you very much for that, mate. Good.
No problem.
So yeah, Belzy, we're going to look like well, in 45 minutes it's actually going to ease off here, I would say, during qualifying as well. So we may see towards the end of this qualifying session, it's going to be really on the bubble, but a switch to inters perhaps. What do you think there, Belzy? Like, you think it could dry up enough? I mean, the weather report's showing me light rain in 15 minutes, but that's going to be right at the end of the qualifying.
Light rain right at the end of the qualifying. I mean, it might end up being one of those things where it's going to be a last minute decision there with probably about 3.5 minutes, I would say. And I think drivers might give the opportunity to go out on inners and try to improve their time. I mean, being a full wet quali, definitely interesting. These times are going to be all over the place, I can imagine, especially with it being a dry race. The drivers are not set up for a wet condition, so they're going to be sliding around a lot of different times here tonight.
Yeah, exactly. And you'd imagine right now they'll be doing their setup for a dry race, as we heard. Most of them would have got that prediction. So therefore, the cars at the moment that they'll be running are dry setups in absolutely horrendously pouring conditions, as you can see right now. Jack 5. It's not Jack's. He'd actually texted me and told me that it's actually Jack 5. So there it is. I'll get that one right this evening, hopefully. As you can see, he was really just coming, really on that hairpin corner before down the Casino Straight. Struggling right now. Cal the Goat will go fastest there. And I'm getting absolutely no times. There it is. Very, very lag glitch, actually. Really delayed on that. 122.6. So, Belzy,
so far, it is looking like Cal the Goat is running actually a really nice time. He's purple sector 1 and 2. I mean, granted, there's only a couple people in front of him, but I think we're going to see another Cal the Goat type of race.
Yeah. Well, Jack 5 went faster. Clean Shelby went faster, but Cal the Goat's going to go faster again. Is he going to cross the line there? There it is. So he's already down to 121.2s. What sort of dry time do you expect usually around? What sort of would impress you, a good time? What time that you would do around?
Are we talking quali pace or race
yeah,
pace?
quali pace.
Quali pace, I'm pretty sure most drivers can get their way into the 108s, maybe even the higher tier stuff. Drivers can definitely get into the 107s. So it's definitely
wow.
A lot different out right now.
13 seconds a lap slower currently at the moment in these conditions.
It's quite nuts. And even on Cal the Goat's first lap, I was on board with him for a little bit. I was watching Cagnus just absolutely drift around the turn 6 and 7 chicane there, and it almost looked like Cal the Goat had no problem with it, which you kind of expect out of somebody like Cal. He's an extremely quick driver and definitely a good driver. So seeing him in the wet conditions is nice, because you do have to drive differently, and being on the dry setups, it changes the ball game entirely.
You're exactly right. Javier at the moment is going down the Casino Straight Further back, just behind him, is a Ferrari of Asher. Probably looked like it could be going even quicker. Maybe even taking that provisional pole away from Cal. We'll find out as they go through the famous Wall of Champions here. Hopefully keeping it out of the Wall of Champions this evening, which it looks like the Alfa Romeo will. And will the Ferrari behind him do? Same. So let's have a look. Alfa Romeo is going to improve. Javier up to where? No, he won't. But Asher in P2. Well, no, he didn't improve either. Unless I'm back. Really delayed telemetry glitch here at the moment this evening.
Asher's just a couple of tenths off of Cal right now. So, and if I'm not mistaken, Asher was the last time I helped commentate this race with you. Asher and Cal had a really good race, and it made for some nice fighting, some nice battles, some nice racing. So, and actually, I think excuse me, I believe Asher is still running a lap as he actually does purple sector 1.
He does at the moment, and the Red Bull of Clean Shelby, he's going to try to find his clean way across the line at the moment, setting personal bests. What can he do for time? It's showing me, once again, P4, not really improving.
He did improve his time, just not his position.
Well, we'll keep an eye on this Ferrari driver over Asher. You'd mentioned purple, purple, purple. You could do, obviously, a couple of runs. Huge double lock up there going into the hairpin. Now he wants to get on the power, but not too much. You can see how easy they are taking it, obviously, on the loud pedal, isn't it? You know, otherwise you'd be fishtailing all the way down the casino. Straight.
Oh, yeah.
And let's see if we can get through the Wall of Champions and basically steal this provisional pole away from Cal the Goat, which I expect he may be able to do if he can hook this one up perfectly without a validator, which he did. And that should slot him into P1 for the Ferrari. And there it is. Confirmed
That was
by 4/10, almost 4/10.
That was actually a really nice lap. That was 7 tenths up on his lap. So I'm wondering if these conditions are starting to get a little less wet. I mean, we do see that dry line forming, so of course those tires are going to be a little more grippy. But I believe it's actually already getting a little more dry out there for these drivers, so hopefully those times keep coming down.
And Exa exiting the corner there with a little bit of a tank slapper across the wall. He needs to get a time on the board. His time is on the board there. That's up at a P6. He's about 3.8 seconds off Ash's time at the moment. But yeah, it's remember the rain's going to ease down. Oh, and there's a spin from Exa. And that gives us an opportunity to test the replay system this evening. There it is. So we can watch his spinneroo all the way around.
There it is.
So that's fantastic. We'll go back to the racing. Other drivers are sitting in the pits. Some of the drivers are sitting in the pits. Some of the drivers come back out on the outlaps. As they can see, the times are improving as the track is drying up a little bit. But if the track dries up too much on those wets, there, Bellsy, obviously it's not going to give you any more time, will it?
No, that's exactly when you need to switch to inners and try to improve that time even more. Just the amount of, like, it really comes down to if this rain keeps lightening up, I'm sure we'll see a couple laps on inners, and maybe even a couple of these drivers go out on inners. Actually, Clean Shelby's out on inners right now, or shows that he's on inners. He's still in the pit, so I think his next lap is actually going to be on inners.
Yep, as Jack 5 goes just completely into another galaxy. He's actually probably into that lake. This is a man-made island, actually, here.
Yeah.
In Canada. It has lots and lots and lots of underground tunnels.
Really?
Yeah, that it has 15 kilometers or something of underground tunnels. Obviously, because it
Very
snows a lot. It snows a lot here, so they kind of prepared for that. There's also here in Montreal, there is there's a car just spinning there. That's Kankas, and I don't think it compromised Asher because he just kept his pedal to the metal in the Ferrari and just went straight through him like he didn't exist, like he was a ghost perhaps, which he was. And he's just got a bit of a twirly out of there. But there we go. Cal the Goat setting purples for the first sector. He didn't go so twirly out of that corner. McLaren looks cool, calm and relaxed here in these horrendous conditions. He should be able to go faster. Still there's one away from the Ferrari driver.
And I think he did set a purple set too as well, so looking really nice. I didn't get to see that delta, but see how this Wall of Champions treats him. He actually maneuvers that very well. And he's going to come across just ahead, so that 3/10 difference is there again.
Job done. He could have improved a little bit more in the middle sector. Didn't get the purple in the middle sector. Actually got the personal best, but it was only off by 20 thousandths of a second. Now, let's have a look at Clean Shelby. He's taken the gamble, you'd mentioned, on the Inters. That's the Red Bull driver. So let's have a look at what time, because yeah, well, it is going to dry out, but it's going to dry out, they say, in 7 minutes, not
He
now.
is sliding all over the place. Now, obviously, one of the trickiest conditions about this weather is getting that throttle down and getting that power to the wheels. You have to upshift a lot, and then some of these drivers I might even see do that. And when Exia spun out, I noticed that because he was still in first, and I'm not sure if Exia just missed his gear or what happened. There's actually a few more drivers are going to come out on inters in the next couple laps, from what I'm showing.
I think they're doing the gamble now, isn't it? They're saying, you know, well, if I don't get the lap in, I can go back to the pits. There's 6 minutes left to slap those wet tires back on again, and then try to put in an even quicker time.
Right.
It's going to be interesting because it's going to get drier towards the end. So
Okay, so
you have to commit, I guess, to a couple. You can do a couple laps, obviously, in the intakes, can't you? You don't have to box with softs like you.
Right,
Yeah.
right. And I will add, Shelby did not purple sector 1, but he did go almost half a second faster in sector 1. So those inters might be the tire of choice here, starting very, very soon. I'm sure we're going to see a lot more drivers come out on them.
I think you're exactly right. His personal bests all over the place there as well. 25.9 middle sector, 25.6 is the target delta. But obviously he's coming out and you can see it's slippery, so I think they're going to get much more straight line speed, but through the corners is still a little tricky at this point.
Yeah, I mean, Shelby was up almost a second on his lap going into the hairpin, and I kind of full-on expect this time delta that he's setting to fully accumulate here. He's probably going to set a 121, say a 6, 122.0,
Yeah.
so he wasn't quite as much.
But he does improve to P3. That's important at the moment. And that's kind of setting a standard, isn't it, for everybody else out there to go, you know, perhaps it's worth the gamble to take a risk on those inters, which I think, because the track is definitely drying up, might as well just put a couple of laps in on those inters. Thank you very much out there, RC Tattoos.
Oh, yes,
Yeah,
RC,
Belzy as
I do. This man has the voice for it.
So it's also interesting, Belzy, because tomorrow, remember, for the race, well, obviously after this qualifying session, they are going to be, for the first time, on an outlap on soft tyres that they haven't driven around the track this evening with. So braking into their first couple of corners is going to be, you know, it's a new territory, isn't it? It's kind of like going to school for the first time.
Oh, yeah. Oh, yeah. When you have a wet quality and you have a dry race and feeling those fresh softs or even mediums, I mean, just it's so nice when you have fresh new tires for that first lap. And even under race fuel, it's just another, I mean, you gain almost, you know, a lap or two just in full tire wear. So I'm sure we're going to see some of these front runners start off on the mediums. I don't think everybody's going to start off on softs, but it's definitely a choice to be made.
Purple sectors are now coming for the intermediate tyres, and that is Asher. So the Ferrari driver has found the grip that he needs, and definitely the track is gripping up when you're lighting up purples. So he can bring it to Cal the Goat, who's currently at the moment probably watching this Ferrari driver from the pit lane, from the McLaren pit lane, who's still yet to set a time on intermediates. So here we go. There's a new benchmark set in town as it's drying up a little bit here, and there it is. And that's half a second. So purples. That was the last 2 sectors as well. So he could have found even more time in the first sector.
Yeah, I mean, he was a full almost 9/10 up on his time there, so that just goes to show where this interpace is. And Caligote, I think, is kind of putting a little pressure on himself. He's kind of waiting until the last second to start his last lap. So he's still sitting in the pits, but I have no doubt that Cal can set a solid lap. It's actually Asher's going on another lap, and he's purple sector 1.
Yeah, track is definitely gripping up, and I think that's what Cal's thinking right now too. As you said, he's got to just come out and do one flying lap, because basically, as you can see right now, last person across the line this evening, if you put in a good lap, should be the fastest time. Let's see if Little Tequila can improve. Yes, he does. Look at that. Jumped all the way up to P2. So yes, that's a message out there. The track is drying up. Get out there, get your lap times in, or be the person. Time yourself on track so you can be the last across the line. That's the key. Now, Asher going even faster again. Is he going to crack into the 119s? I don't think that'll even be a problem. Maybe 118s.
Yeah, I don't think that'll be a problem. I mean, he was 4/10 up going into the hairpin. It all comes down to these last couple corners of Wall of Champions, the infamous Wall of Champions. So he navigates that quite well. So we're going to see this time here coming across the line just outside, half a second more. So 19.4 is almost a full second up on the next person. We're going to be able to see what Caligo can do in this next coming lap.
Exactly. But also remember, as the track is drying out a little bit, they're exploring those track limits a little bit more, and we are starting to see some invalidations. So Cal the Goat and these other drivers, Jack 5, Clean Shelby, all that on their out laps, ready to cross the line and try to get the provisional pole, at least top row. Got to make sure in the back of their mind that now the invalidations can come in because you are fast enough to explore the track limits.
Yes, of course. I'm not really sure if Asher's going to be able, if he's got the fuel to set another lap. He is taking kind of an off lap, so maybe Asher is just kind of calming down a little bit before he does set another lap. I mean, those tires are a little more worn, but the grip should definitely be there.
Do you think he has time to box and get back out there and do it again? He is currently...
No.
He's down the... He'll be heading down the casino straight.
Unless we have a timing glitch on our quality.
Oh, Cal has a definite glitch at the moment, making a bit of a glitchy moment through there. That's compromised his time. 23.1. He's lost quite a bit of time, at least 2/10 or 3/10 there. So he's going to have to just basically back off in this one and do it again because that's too much time to lose. I'll tell you what, little Tequila, the Williams driver, is pouncing and pouncing and pouncing. He's lighting up timing boards at the moment. He's like, P2? I don't want P2. I want P1. I'm going to steal it from that Ferrari.
I mean, Caligo is if he sets up the sector 3 here, he's going to come close. I mean, I think he set himself up enough to run 2 laps here, which might be what he's doing. I can't really tell.
Little Tequila has just absolutely banked any chance that he has. As too loud on the pedal, slipped into the wall, and yeah, his third sector will not be enough to cut it to Asher, unless somehow the track had dried up that much that it's a miracle.
Oh, there it is.
Cal the Goat. Cal hooked up that third sector out of nowhere. You mentioned it. He did find it. 2/10. Oh, that's
that
good.
was 1.1 seconds up on his time. So one of the time, I think he's actually going out. He's setting another lap. So let's see what he comes across here. Sector 1.
That's it. Well, the Ferrari at the moment is responding. Yes, he's responding. Yeah, well, Cal's responding at the moment even quicker. The Ferrari driver now has to just give it every single thing he possibly can out of the prancing horse. He needs to rely on the Tifosi that are definitely not here in Canada to support him. He's got purples, but in his rear view mirrors, he's invalidated. So that's it. Cal could probably back off. He doesn't need to back off. Doesn't need to save those tires. As you can see, that Ferrari driver is red and angry at the moment.
He does not need to save those tires, but he's up almost a full second on his time right now. Caligotis is saying, "Screw you! You would have bested my time. I'm gonna best your time by even more."
He's got 18s for sure. This has to be 18s.
Oh, this might even be 17s if he really hooks us up.
He wants to set a statement here, doesn't he? He wants to be the wet weather master.
Oh. So he did lose a little bit of time there in sector 3, but a full second out of that P2 Ferrari. We have...
Yeah, exactly. That's good. That's fantastic. Javier at the moment looking at P7. Going to be crossing the line soon. One of the last 2 drivers to cross the line. Max Shelby is going to be crossing the line just behind him in a second. Let's see what the Alfa Romeo driver of Javier can do to improve his way up through the field. He should be able to improve a little bit. He won't improve, actually. Actually, looks like he's going to remain. Actually, I was wrong. 6th, he will. My bad. There it is.
Yep. And RC Tattoos, we all love the F1 community. It's been a great community so far. As we do have Caligo going pole with that 118.4, and just over a full second behind him is that Ferrari from Asher. Then we got Lil Taquito in that 3rd podium spot. We got Jack 5, Clean Shelby to round out the top 5. Then Javier, Cappy, Cagnes, and Exia to round out the rest of this field. Mind you, Cappy and Exia did set those times on wet, so they must not have got a good lap in on the inters.
They did not take the gamble, and the gamble has not paid off for the Canadian. You think as well, too, the Canadian, obviously, Cal the Goat with that fan support there of all the Canadians soaking in the ponchos and umbrellas to support their driver. So, well, one Canadian driver is celebrating. The other Canadian driver is probably fuming that he didn't get out there and do the inters. Well, racing will be underway, and it's going to be dry. Isn't it amazing, isn't it? Within a matter of 30 seconds, we've gone from a thunderstorm. It must be. It feels like it's Melbourne.
Yeah, that is a very nice atmosphere to be in, especially for race day.
So yeah, this is the crucial part. They only have a formation lap, which of course they can't go flat out. It's all about warming up those tires. But then that's going to come down to your muscle memory at this point, won't it? It's going to be like, okay, so where do I brake again? Flat out with dry tires in perfect conditions into the first couple of turns, because I haven't done that all evening. I've only just been doing it on wet weather tires.
Right, and of course, what is it? It's probably a good 50 to 75 meters or so. The brake distance from full wet to dries, and seeing that distance, I mean, of course, you're going full speed. That distance is just a snap of a second. So these
Or
drivers,
yeah, or a snap of your front wing.
yeah,
as well.
exactly. Actually, we do have Asher on the mediums, which I fully expected somebody to start out on the mediums. We'll see if he'll be able to keep pace with Cal on those fresh softs.
That will be very interesting. I wonder Cal at the moment is going to be thinking, okay, well, I've decided, because, you know, they don't know what the other drivers are going to do. They just really have to take a gamble on that. Obviously, during qualifying in dry conditions, you know exactly what tires your opponent's on. But
oh yeah,
this case around, it's a gamble. You got to pick a tire off the start, and pick your strategy. Obviously, talk to your teammate about it. Capri's elected to do the softs as well, but Capri is a little bit further back, that it may not affect a double stack or anything like that. But yeah, so Cal's gone, okay, I have mediums, and now I know softs. My opponent has gone to mediums. Little Tequila has gone the softs there. Jax has gone the mediums. So it's going to be cracker, isn't it? Those top four, the different tire strategies going in the first couple of corners.
oh yeah, it's gonna be a little hectic going into the first couple turns, and probably the whole first sector up until the second chicane there is probably going to be a little bit of chaos. And I'm actually kind of surprised that we only had 3 drivers start out on these mediums. Kind of figured there was going to be a little more, but these softs should pay off pretty well and towards the end of the race.
Yeah, Cal the Goat wants to get on, but look how far up the road he is. He's going to be based. If he was in a real F1 car, he'd be sitting on that grid there, just overheating the car like mad. But obviously in the game, you don't need to worry about that too much. But obviously indicating. So what do you think about this, Belsy? If you were Cal the Goat, obviously, if you were Asher, you know, try obviously that second row on the grid there from the Ferrari is also a very good position to try to take it to the pole sitter into the turn one. And obviously, knowing that you got drivers behind you that have quick tires. And we'll find out in a second as those lights go out. Here we go, underway. This is Breakout Racing League, and they need to break out of these boxes at the moment. These lines here. Cal the Goat there to the right is going to challenge already, as these camera angles are giving me absolutely nothing right now. I'm looking at no cars on the track. I'm actually looking at EXO running in P2. Cal the Goat has got through there, has survived. But Asher's got a little bit of pressure there at the moment. And that's from the Little Tequila. As you got to remember, Little Tequila does have these very nice tires, and all this timing glitch has just killed me already. Here we go. We go on board.
Oh yeah, it should definitely be fixing itself up, as I think it just did for me. And actually, so far, those top 5 drivers rather, kind of sitting in place. So a wonderful start from all these guys. And of course, Cappy on those softs, he's trying to push that lead out as far as he can, get out of DRS immediately.
He needs to. He's almost out of the DRS. Not going to be activated for a couple of laps yet, but look at Little Tequila bouncing, putting the pressure right now on the Ferrari, knowing he has the traction, he has the grip, but he can't go as deep into this race as the Ferrari driver. So if he wants to get the job done, he has to get jumped on quickly. The slipstream down the casino straight there, Belsy. Can he try to take it to the World Champions? That's a little bit too eager at this point, but how much of a better exit can he get into turn 1 coming up soon?
Of course, that is definitely eager, especially on lap 1. They try to go side by side into that Wall of Champions entry there. You know me, I always say, yeah. do not ruin your race lap 1. It's not fun.
Yeah, I think almost everybody has signed their name in the World Champions, haven't they? Let's go back to turn 2. The McLaren driver of Capri, running in P6 at the moment, putting huge amounts of pressure on the Red Bull of Clean Shelby. He's going to have to try to cover him off at the moment. I think Capri's kind of set a dummy at the moment, but he can't drive around the outside. Yes, he can drive around the outside. He's proven me absolutely wrong, making me eat my microphone. Job done. What a brilliant overtake.
that was a lot of traction that he gained out of there.
Same tires too, remember, as the driver he was battling with. Clint Shelby is on the same tires, so they're not like he had that little bit of advantage of softs over mediums. That was just pure driving skill.
Oh, yes, and that was such a beautiful move. I was not really expecting Cappy to get that traction around the outside. It's such a tricky traction zone to lay your foot down, but of course he got it done. And actually, Asher has moved down into P3. He is on those mediums, so probably not really worrying all too much. But a lot of good action so far.
You're exactly right. We missed that little overtake that occurred between the little tequila that did get that done. But looks like Asher's going to come back at him. He will come back at him right now. He doesn't want to get that position lost. He's got a contract in Ferrari for sake here. And he says denying Little Tequila that position too. Sending him back. Little Tequila made a big error there as well. He's dropped almost a second now. He's got big pressure from Jack 5. Check this out. Jack 5 says, okay, Little Tequila, you make a mistake. I'm going to pounce on that. AlphaTauri versus Williams. And what's going wrong with Little Tequila? That Williams car, has he got a problem? He's just dropping a couple of positions a lot.
Oh, he's lost an end plate.
Oh, there it is. That's the reason why he's dropping positions. That makes perfect sense. The Williams driver in huge trouble. You need that. Yeah, no gaffer tape. Well, there might be some gaffer tape available down there in the pit lane of Williams because they probably can't afford a new front wing, unfortunately. Capri's going to have him in a second, but Capri should know that he is going to be diving in the pits. How many times have you seen a bit of a tangle as one driver goes straight and one driver goes right, just as you saw there?
It's definitely a mess there going into the pit entry. So many drivers, especially in open lobbies, when they have pit assist on or something like that, they'll just full speed right into that pit lane and just try to time it before you make your turn, and it just causes massive accidents.
So, Odang, it's Yang. Hello, welcome, mate. No, wrong account. It's because they're streaming on the Twitch, the other race at the moment. So, and we couldn't hook up the YouTube in time, so we were basically just streaming here on X's account.
No, I think he was talking about the comment from Eternal Glory Race, and he was on that Twitch account.
Oh, sorry. I was thinking about the other accounts and stuff like that. Anyway, good on you. Hope you're doing your homework, sir. And your homework at studying how to drive around Canada. That could be a homework assignment, couldn't it? So,
well, heck, if you want to study how to drive around Canada, just look at Cal the Goat right now. He's pulled out to almost a 5-second gap.
There you go. Good call. Good on you, Belzy.
Flying out here. We're going to start calling Cal an airplane or something like that.
So Little Tequila obviously are having to box a front wing change. Now drops back to last. Elected to go to the hards. We can make those go to the end, no doubt, I'd imagine, if I'm not mistaken there. Belzy?
I do believe it's a soft, medium soft strategy here. I think the hards are a little bit too slow for Canada, but he might be electing either to go to softs at the end or maybe even stop at mediums, probably around lap, I don't know, 20? I can't remember my last Canadian Grand Prix race that I've had in the league, so not too much helpful here.
They have, well, you know a lot more than me, that's why I rely on your expertise in the booth with me, and once again, thank you very much for coming to the booth last minute again. So we have 9 drivers here, all 9 drivers remaining. Every single driver is guaranteed some good, nice, juicy points this evening. So one thing you want to be guaranteeing is you have to get those points. You have to cross the line. You want to see that checkered flag at the end, at least, even if you do get points. As Capri is sick of seeing the back of Jack 5's AlphaTauri fashion statement this evening.
You're getting ready to say Alfa Romeo, weren't you?
I was going to say, I was going to mix up these damn Alphas. Everybody wants to be the Alpha car. Everybody wants to be the top dog, can't they? They just call it a Romeo AlphaTauri. Right. Anyway, he's got that DRS run going to the first corner, but you can't overtake really there, but you want to get a good exit. And we saw some Brian overtaking before, didn't we, around the outside?
Oh, he had a little bit of a lag spike.
Yeah.
Set him back a little bit. So Cappy kind of on the crawl back up there again.
How much is that hurting his soft tires right now in the dirty air of Jack 5?
Actually, amazingly in this game, you don't lose a terrible amount difference between tire wear and dirty air. It's usually around 5% at the end of a stint, so of course you are losing a little bit, but definitely not nearly as much as what the real F1 drivers are.
there you have it. But he's still on soft tyres, isn't he? So he needs to be past the AlphaTauri and moving his way up, because this is costing him time at the moment. He is now currently looking at a 10-second gap to Cal. That's his teammate. And obviously there's going to be a call from the McLaren drivers as to who will box first. And that's my next question over to you, Burlsy, as well. When will those soft runners box?
I cannot tell you that off the top of my head. It's definitely probably coming up here in the next few laps, I would imagine. So I do know that from what I've understand, if it's soft, medium, soft, those tires are not going to last terribly long. So I'd imagine probably lap 11 or so would be my best guess. Maybe, plus or minus 2 laps.
And with such a small field, it doesn't look like much of a chance of a safety car or a virtual safety car as well. So you can't really rely on that Mercedes to come out there and bunch the pack up or give you a bit of a cheap pit stop this evening. So really, it's going to come down to pure racing, which sometimes is really good, actually. I enjoy that, don't you? You probably do as well, Burlsy, as Clean Shelby's really right on the back of the Racing Point soon-to-be Aston Martin car. Should be painted green right now. I guess somebody forgot to get the memo on that one. It is 2021. Codemasters.
I do want to add, I don't know exactly when this happened, because Cappy was experiencing a little bit of lag issues, but he is missing his right front end plate.
Oh, that's the reason why he hasn't been able to challenge Jack 5, sorry, with those tires.
I do believe he got it this lap, but he does dip it into the pits.
Yeah.
There's our second pit stop, rather.
Well, first, and yeah, he's going to change the front wing. He will. So yeah, I was going to say the first non-intentional front wing change, but he had to get it done anyway.
Yep.
And well, why not get it done early? I guess lap 8 of 35. You can make your way back through the field because you only have a small field to get through, so it isn't too bad. That's what I was mentioning before. That's another good thing about having a small field, is that you have less chances of safety cars and virtual safety cars. So it's going to come down purely to racing performance and the strategy. And you don't see that often with a full 20 grid of gladiators, of drivers out there, because a lot of them will actually get that, a lucky break there with the safety cars and stuff like that. But generally this evening, I don't think the chances of that obviously are a lot minimal.
Yes. It's probably one of the biggest things right now is we do see Cal the GOAT. He's extended that lead out. I believe I have a time glitch. It's showing me 9 seconds at the moment, but my times are stopped, so I can't really give you an accurate time, but
I'll tell
Cal the
you.
GOAT running a tremendous lap.
Yeah, Ted down the pit lane. Ted can give us. Ted's going to tell us right now. It's a 7.2. I'll tell you what, if you watch that Formula One race in Bahrain, I think Ted was actually trying to tell the team how to lift the car back up. You guys got the tire run properly. And then Ted said it before the actual front jack guy did actually indicate to lift the car back up. I think we need Ted basically as the pit lane director for some of these teams, because he called it perfectly, didn't he?
Yes. And while we're talking about that, I think these medium and soft are starting to even out in time-wise, as Asher's kind of... He's not really losing any time. He's not really gaining any time up on Cal the GOAT. So these tires are starting to equal out in performance. And actually, Asher had another timing glitch there. So Asher still not really gaining any time, not losing any time. I'm sure these softs are going to start dying here pretty soon.
We'll see the battle at the moment between Clean Shelby and Kangas. That is for P4 at the moment. And they Capri's obviously getting past Little Tequila because he's got fresher boots there back there. But we'll keep an eye on this battle. Clean Shelby is on the same tires as Kangas.
Oh, and we have a yellow flag in sector 2.
I think somebody must have just gone wide.
He's gonna have to get a front wing change again.
Oh, we're not going to see it. Oh, they're boxing anyway at the moment, both these drivers, even though that there was not a virtual safety car or anything. This is just a pure short yellow. So it's going to be a battle between Javier and Clean Shelby. I think Clean Shelby got sick of basically seeing the rear wing there. Oh, he's going to try the undercut, obviously, on the Racing Point of Kangas. That could work out for him.
Yeah.
Keep an eye on that one. Why not? If you're tucked up behind a car and you're on the same tyres. Little Tequila's had enough of that one. Where did he stop on track?
Yeah.
I believe he stopped
He's
in
in
the
the
pits. So, yeah, he won't cause a safety car. Doing the right thing for the lads this evening. Because really...
And here's actually the... sorry to cut you off there, but here's actually the strategy difference. is Clean Shelby went to the hards and Javier went to the medium, so we'll get to see a little bit of tire difference in terms of speed and lap time.
You're exactly right. This is one of the reasons why I don't want to see a safety car this evening, because we see it in so many different league races, don't we? And for the first time, you know, you got to take pros and cons. Okay, yeah, we don't have a 20 car grid, but we have, you know, now 8 drivers. We had 9 that of different strategies. Obviously, Cal the Goat's just on a planet of his own at this point, but we still have a lot of other drivers here battling it out and potentially could get podium positions. And strategy's going to come and play. Kangas is now also boxing. He's going to box out lap after, so it's going to be interesting. As they're going to pay it out for the Red Bull driver of Clean by just basically boxing 1 lap earlier. And obviously of Jeff on the radio going, okay, now it's time. On your out lap from the pits there. Hammer, 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 get on with it. Will he get past Kangas? It's going to be super close coming out of the pits.
It is going to be extremely close. And I think the thing that held Clean Shelby back were those hards, actually.
Oh, he did not get past the Racing Point driver. So whatever it is, he could not get them up into those hard tires. Just couldn't find the pace, isn't it? And obviously take a little bit more to heat up. But will that come back later to play in Clean Shelby's favour as Kangas' mediums wear a lot quicker?
Definitely could be. I mean, I'm not sure if Clean Shelby's trying to go to the end here or if he's just taking those to maybe softs later on in the race. But it's definitely something to keep an eye out, as you did say. With less drivers, we do get less safety cars, and it shows the thought that goes into these races, the different strategies, and just the focus of driving lap after lap. And of course, during a safety car, you don't really have to focus a whole lot. Obviously, you got to keep it out of the rear end of other cars and watch out for the people behind you. But just this is a race based purely on strategy at this point.
Now, Belzy, let's keep an eye on our race leader, Cal the Goat, doing a fantastic job on 11 lap tires. But now his times are not up there, because his teammate Capri is doing 1 minute 12s flat now, and Cal the Goat's doing 1:13.3s, and Asher behind him is doing 1:13.1s. Do the math on that one. He can't afford to lose too much time now, can he?
Yes, and I think he's going to dip it either into the pits either this lap or the following lap. I did see his delta after sector 2 was down almost 0.6. So he's probably losing roughly a second a lap at this point to what those softs could be running.
It's a box. It's not a box. He's staying out, taking the gamble. He's like, okay, well, I can lose half a second a lap. Have a 7-second buffer to Asher.
Actually, that was a 1.5 loss there. So he's running the 13.3 compared to the gentleman behind him, as Asher's time to him is actually decreasing turn after turn.
That's a gamble. So why is Cal doing this as a driver? And what sort of strategy? Obviously, want to switch to those mediums, and then obviously the more... he's definitely struggling right now with the traction. You can see fishtailing almost out of that. And obviously, okay, this is a gamble. Why not try it? But what happens when those tires you don't have the grip when you come out of a corner, and then all of a sudden you bend it, you're out of the race?
Oh, yeah, it's one of those things in racing that you have to gamble, and I think he should have pitted last lap, because just over the course of this lap, Asher's put a second on him. So we're definitely seeing those tires fall off a cliff, rather literally. Asher's only 2/10 behind his time, whereas Cal the Goat is just dropping so much time here. They're already over a second, so it's one of those gambles, and I don't think it's going to pay off. So should be pitting this lap. There he goes in.
Yep. He's listened to the Jeff DeBelzy, taking the advice there. Has he done it 1 lap too late? That may come back and haunt him. The only great thing he has to know, as Asher will obviously overtake there, quick in and out pit stop there for the McLaren team. So yeah, one thing in the back of his mind, he will know, well, you know, Asher does have a 3-second penalty, so that will give him a favour. But we don't know how many warnings that Cal the Goat has. Also, he could be on the bubble of getting his first penalty for this evening.
I will let you know right now, actually. I can go in there and look at that. Can you find it here?
We need Ted. Where's Ted?
He does have 1 warning so far from what I'm showing in the race director. So still has a little bit of room to play with. Of course, Asher dealing with that penalty already. He's obviously got to be pushing and trying to extend that gap as much as he can.
He's come out plump behind the AlphaTauri driver, and that should be all too easy, taking candy from Babao. I don't think really too much that Jack 5 are going to put up a battle on that one, because Jack 5 is obviously still running the original tyres that he started this race on, as with Asher, as with Exeter, the only drivers left yet to box. So Cal the Goat still remaining in the lead of this race on merit, obviously, because of the pit stop the Ferrari driver needs to do, and he's 9 seconds away from the Ferrari driver. Pit stop here costs you about 23 seconds, but I'm getting about 22 to 23 seconds there from race control, so he's looking pretty comfortable. But exactly, as Jack 5 now is going to box. Let's see if the AlphaTauri is going to slot back out there. It's going to be interesting if he's going to be around where Capri is. Just behind Capri, I'd imagine. Where's Capri currently at the moment? Capri's boxing too. So he would definitely be ahead of him.
So I think Jack is trying the one stop here, medium to hard. So could be interesting. And maybe even Shelby is considering going all the way to the end. It's actually Cappy pit for softs. So
yeah.
Sure
was that a right call, or was that a mismanagement there between Jeff and the McLaren team? Because that, I don't know about you, but I mean, I'm not a race driver, but I can tell you one thing. That softs will definitely not go to the end of this race on lap 15.
No, it comes down, I think it's probably going to be one of those two-stop strategies, but I would have preferred those softs to be at the end of the race instead of this medium stint. But maybe he's just trying to make the most out of this medium stint, or maybe he's got a little bit of info. It looks like it's kind of getting a bit darker in the race. I don't know, maybe some rain's on its way. I know the drivers did say that it was going to be a dry race, but
it is dry.
A lot darker.
Ferrari driver has boxed. So our race leader's boxed. Obviously, he will end up behind. He should be comfortably ahead of Exa. Exa, remember, still has to box and, well, 26 seconds behind. So the Ferrari driver's looking pretty good. The Ferrari driver's not looking behind, but the Ferrari driver's looking ahead. He wants to bring it to Cal the Goat. And he's trying a different strategy here. And he's gone with the mediums again, which means he has to box again. He can't make this go to the end of the race. It's impossible. He has to change to a different compound.
He's got to go with the softs at the end of the race. And with Cal switching to those mediums when he did, and Asher staying out, he lost 3 seconds. That's how hard Cal was pushing to put down that lap. I mean, that time's coming down a little bit as Asher's on his out lap, but when Cal went into the pits, it was roughly 6 seconds, and now it's 9 seconds.
Yeah, it's paid off beautifully, hasn't it, for the McLaren team? Staying out just a little bit longer. We thought it might have been a gamble. It was a gamble because it was very easy for him just to make a little bit of a mistake and bin it, lose a front wing. He could have easily lost this lead of this race, but he didn't maintain his control, kept it cool, and now he is in control of this race and strategy, because really at the end of the day, he can cover off Asher with strategy. Well, he has covered off Asher with strategy at the moment because Asher has to box again. Cal doesn't have to, but obviously he knows that the Ferrari driver does have to box again, so he will also probably box again, slap some fresh softs on there, get the fastest lap that he already has at the moment, as Jack 5 is going to put the pressure at the moment on Exa. And I think Exa basically just lifted and coasted through that one and not put up a battle this evening with the AlphaTauri driver. So Jack 5 up into P3, but with a 13-second differential to the Ferrari driver.
Yes, of course. And apologies here, I was in a little bit of frame stutter, so I was changing a couple settings and just trying to get my game better. After this last update, I had a little bit of problems with stuff reverting to where it shouldn't have been. So apologies there.
Not a problem there, Bellsy. Thank you once again for stepping in and helping out. I'm sure the lads here at Breakout Racing League do appreciate it. I certainly appreciate it, that's for sure.
Yes, of course. And I mean, it was kind of funny because we were actually you were actually asking me for a different commentary spot to find out that you were just a little bit early on that one.
I was a week early, sir. Nothing wrong with being a week early, right? Trying to be prepared. I was rushing some graphics absolute last minute too for a new league that we want to help out with, of course. I like to help out with many leagues. Obviously, I love helping out with the Breakout Racing League and the other 12 or so leagues that I help out with. You probably help out with at least 6 or 7 leagues now as well, too, Bellsy. So, yeah, but, you know, obviously you want to give everybody a start, a chance, and, well, if we can bring our commentating skills to any of these leagues, then that is fantastic, as the Ferrari driver is putting on some blistering pace at the moment. You're going to try to respond to a fastest lap there. Cal the Goat is dropping him a little bit now per lap.
It was actually Cappy that set the fastest lap.
Cappy.
On those soft tires. So, I mean, granted, Asher does need to make up a little bit of time. Like I said, he was 6 seconds when Cal went into the pits. Lost that time on those couple of laps that he stayed out afterwards. But hopefully he can make up a little bit of time and then use those softs there at the end and try to catch them. And again, this is going to be a race that's purely on... It was actually Asher to set the fastest lap there.
Yeah, he was on a blister. He was trying to counteract that. He doesn't want to let Cal go too far away. He basically wants to put the cow... He wants to put the goat back in the farm, really. He wants to close the gate. That's really at the end of the day. I was waiting for my Cal the goat puns. They were coming. It took a few races, but they're there in the background. And we can see if we can find some more here if we're going to tame the goat this evening. Any guys at Twitch, if you are listening out there or watching, please give me some puns there. Is it XR? What's happening at XR? Oh, he's boxing. He misses Jeff, I guess. We all miss Jeff. Okay, it's the right key. Here it is. I only have 9 keys to select from, and I get them all wrong. He's out of the pits. All right, so yeah, he's gone to the hards. Go to the end of the race, no doubt. He'll be joining Clean Shelby. We'll be going to the end of the race on the hards. And I'll tell you what, Jack 5 might be looking pretty good here. Because he's got to keep within the bubble. He's 19 seconds away from the Ferrari driver. It's 23-second pit stop. So if the Ferrari driver has to box again, he's going to steal that position away.
You do know that the Ferrari driver needs to stop again. He has a switch tires.
Actually, yeah, exactly. You're right. Sorry, my apologies. Good call there, Belzy. That's why I need your technical driving knowledge in the booth with me. He has to box again. Has to. So, Jax, I'm sorry, I keep saying it because it looks like an S on my screen. I'm running this in windowed mode on 4 screens, okay? So there's a lot. It's not as big on a 4K monitor as these drivers would have. If not, they'd have 50K monitors.
Cal the Goat just picked up a 3-second penalty. So,
ooh, that's very uncharacteristic. That's his first one. He said he had a warning. Well, he's used those warnings up now. But he still has a 9-second buffer. That's not too bad. But yeah, Jack 5, got that one right there. He knows this, but now he's dropping. I guess maybe the Ferrari driver just heard us because he's picking up his pace there. 20.5. You know that those hard tires are a lot slower, aren't they? At least at this point in the race, they're about half a second a lap slower, regardless
of
how quick you really are as a driver. And he needs to basically remain within 3 seconds of Clean Shelby. What's happening here?
As Asher just picked up another penalty. That Wall of Champions just cutting people out left and right. And I'm sure that's where a lot of the warnings are.
Asher has now, at this point, almost handed P2 to Jack 5. With another with that 6-second penalty as well.
It's going to be hard because Asher's going to come out just a couple of seconds behind. Well, at this stage, when Asher switches those softs, he's going to come out a couple of seconds behind Jack. But of course, that time difference in tires is going to be so just lopsided that it's going to be one of those things where Asher's going to have to basically all out push and build that time up there at the end of the race if Jack 5 is planning on going the distance on these hard tires.
Exactly, as Capri goes a little bit fishtailing out of that one on soft tires, trying to keep up to the back of Kangas. He should be able to keep up the back of Kangas. He's got some fresher boots on the rim, but maybe he's just chewed through those red striped soft tires a little bit too early, a little bit too quickly. He needs to get past Kangas, and he has a 6-second penalty nursing his name as well. So Kangi has a 3, but no doubt he's going to get more.
A little something interesting that I saw pop up on Asher's telemetry data right there is he's actually running low on fuel. So he's going to have to drop it in the lean a little bit, save up a little bit of fuel, employ those fuel-saving tactics, and try to build that fuel back up a little bit before he switches to these softs and try to keep that pace as even as he can while doing that. So making his life a little bit harder. Seems lap after lap as he actually just almost fishtailed it there into that chicane.
Exactly, and what Bells is giving us their fuel reports there on the drivers. So it looks like Capri finally got that job done and got the overtake. Getting up the road there to try to catch Jack 5 there, 13 seconds back with soft tires. And Javier's deciding to box from the hard tires. Very interesting. Did he have damage? Mediums, my bad. 12 lap mediums. Yeah, he's had enough of those, and he will slap
He is getting a wing change.
Yeah, and fresh mediums on. Go to the end of the race on those ones, no problem. Lap 22 of 35. Capri, we know, can't take those tires at the end of the race. So he got held up a little bit by Kangi, and well, he has to build a huge gap, doesn't he? Because can Kangas can take those 11 lap mediums to the end of the race too. That's going to be very close.
I do think that Cagnus is going to pit again. Cappy obviously going to pit again. Ash is going to pit again. Probably even Cal. Cal might pit again. I don't see those tires making it all the way to the end.
Yeah, but Cal doesn't. I mean, Cal's very dominant. He's controlling this race anyway at this point. So he doesn't. I don't think he's just going to cover off any sort of other strategy from drivers behind him.
Exactly.
I tell you what, but Jack 5 is looking pretty good there, as it looks like Bree is trying to get a Sharpie out and sign his name into the Wall of Champions. Very lucky to survive that one. So he's pushing like mad. As you men, Asher has obviously had to back off a little bit because of the fuel there in the Ferrari. And are we surprised that a Ferrari is not trying to trick a fuel sensor? He's getting a tow there from Javier, a back marker being lapped there. Javier's still obviously hanging in there because you need to hang in there. There's good points there. It could be a bit of a collision, a bit of a crash, and you can all of a sudden be up into P5.
And I saw another penalty pop up for Cappy, so Cappy's just not enjoying wherever he's getting these penalties at. Oh, there's a VSC. Cappy retired.
Yeah, that's a McLaren. That is a McLaren. And let's see if we can spot out where that McLaren is. And there it is to the right-hand side, straight into the wall, absolutely bended into the wall. Capri's out of this race. Virtual safety car. Now, interesting. Drivers we had the AlphaTauri already past the pits, but let's go on board with Cal. Where is he? He's coming to the scene of the accident right now. He's a little bit too far back. These other drivers, the Racing Point driver. Where's the Racing Point driver? Kangi. Kangi at the moment is right here. 12 laps. He should box. No. Virtual safety car does not box. What about the Red Bull behind him of Mex Clean Shelby?
Stays out as well. So what about Exia?
And the Williams driver wakes up.
Stays out.
They've all stayed out. So this is a cheap pit stop. Nobody's taken that opportunity to choose it here this evening. What about the McLaren driver? Will our race leader, Cal, box? He hasn't either. So back into racing conditions. That's probably not too bad there for Cal because the virtual safety car ended it. But that might have been a missed opportunity for some of these other drivers, right?
Yeah. I mean, it's really one of those things that I think it came down to just kind of a rough spot for some of these drivers. Obviously, well, it didn't really benefit Asher, but Exia could have pitted to mediums, and Cagnus could have pit to fresh mediums unless he started. I don't think he started on mediums. I think he started on soft. So he even could have pit to fresh softs rather, because we are kind of getting down there into that 11 lap delta that I do believe softs are set for here. And of course, being a little less fuel, those tires are going to stretch just a little bit longer.
I'm interesting as well too, Bells, because I already thought Asher could have probably boxed there and switch over to those tires, because a cheap pit stop's a cheap pit stop. You want to minimize the amount of time it's going to take. It's 23 seconds. You cut that down to about 18 or 17 on a virtual safety car. It might have helped you a little bit later on as Jack 5 picks up his first penalty of the evening. And I wonder, obviously, Exa out there, if you can hear us, come and jump into the commentary box and explain what happened there and why is a couple of £500,000 coming out of your salary for bidding that car into the wall. Actually, would like to hear. He was pushing like mad, and maybe he pushed those tires a little bit too much because he was on those 8-lap softs this evening. So, Exy, come in and chat to us, mate. Clean Shelby at the moment is the only clean driver on no penalties. That may definitely come into play later on.
I do want to add that Exy is still in this race. It was Cappy that DNF'd.
Oh, Cappy. My bad, Cappy. Actually, Cappy is in the other chat as well. So I don't know. Perhaps, Belzy, if you want, because I can't do it, but if you want to jump into that chat, because there's not much action at the moment going on anyway. If you want to jump into that chat and then ask Cappy if he'd like to come and join us in the commentary box and explain what happened, or if he wants to keep his helmet on and not talk about it.
Yes, give me just a second.
So as we send Belzy down to the pit lane to talk to the drivers this evening, we're going to see this Cal the Goat leading this race. P1 comfortably 11 seconds there from the Ferrari driver Asher, who needs to box again because he's done a medium to medium run. Looking good for Jack 5 there, going deep into this race. Can he make those hard tyres go to the end? Well, that's the only chance he's going to have potentially this evening of stealing that P2 spot from the Ferrari driver. Kangas running 16 seconds back there from Jax with a 3-second penalty on 15 lap mediums. Has to try to make those go to the end. There, Clean Shelby can make these 16 lap hards go to the end. He's got a 5.6 second gap away from Kangas and no penalties. So that may very well come into the play for the Red Bull driver this evening, as Exa, I was just talking about before that I thought Bindit, it didn't. Oh, sorry, my apologies. It was Capri. He is in P6 at the moment, but on the back with some fresh, hard tyres. And now, as a driver, anybody would know that you can now see your target up ahead, even though he's right up the end of the Casino Straight, about to be going into the Wall of Champions. But there it is. That brings hope to a driver, brings spirit, brings a challenge, gets that blood pumping, the adrenaline flowing through the veins. As Kangas has boxed, so that will release these other drivers. And yes, go ahead, Buzzer.
And I am back. Sorry, I've been actually back for about 30 seconds. I was enjoying your little commentary there. So, relay from Cappy there. He was having a little bit of technical difficulties, and he's not even really sure what happened. He said he was driving. The next thing you know, he ended up in a wall.
Oh, Ash is boxed on that one. Ferrari driver has taken that gamble. He's gone to the softs now. Lap 28 at 35. Will Cal the Goat respond to that on the next lap? That's interesting. Now, Asher has enough time to get in and out because the AlphaTauri driver of Jax is now coming through the Wall of Champions there. So he's way out in front. He's almost got another pit stop in hand, but he's nursing 6 seconds of penalties.
I kind of feel like Caligoat will cover it off here. Excuse me, that kind of came out of nowhere. As Caligoat rounds that hairpin, I think he will cover it off as those tires start to wear down. Those are 14-lap-old mediums, so I'm sure we're going to see Caligoat coming to the pits here in a couple laps. Of course, he does have about 10 seconds to play with, so he's got plenty of time to play with and figure out his strategy. Maybe he just wants to flex on everybody at the end of the race and go for that fastest lap.
At the moment, you're exactly right there. I'm not quite sure that Exa can do anything at the moment about Clean Shelby. He has a better tyre. I was mentioning that just before there, but now it seems that Clean Shelby's kind of just matching his pace there. He can't break into that DRS just yet. Well, he may be able to break into it now, just as I'm speaking about it. He's on a delta of 1.21. You need to be under the 1. I'm sure he has Bono in his ear telling him to, it is Exa hammer time this evening. Got to get on with it. You've got better tyres than the driver up ahead. You're going to use that, maximize that grip that you have. Ash is going purples. He's not going to get the first purple sector, but he certainly will be on for a fastest lap at the moment. He has the fastest lap, and he's just blisteringly at the moment quick. But, I mean, it doesn't matter how quick you are in a Ferrari. 25-second gap to Cal the Goat is not something you can achieve, actually, plus 3 seconds on top of that, too, because he's nursing those penalties, which I'll show right now.
Yes. Is actually all these drivers are dealing with penalties right now, and so I do believe that Cal is planning to stay out on these tires for a little bit longer. He's not running too far behind his lap time, or his best lap time rather. He's running 112, so not terrible. But of course, that's 25 seconds that Asher still has to make up to Cal. That's a lot to make up in 5 laps, 6 laps.
Exactly, and you can't even see the car. You can't even see a car ahead and behind. And you know, as I just mentioned before too, as we're on board with Exa, you need to get that blood pumping through your veins. You need to see a car, don't you, on the track? You need to give some sort of incentive, some sort of motive to say, okay, this is it. This is my target. I want to bring it. When you don't have anybody around you, you're basically sitting there listening to some Italian opera or perhaps some French opera here in Canada, and just sitting to your deltas.
Yeah, and when you have really nobody around you, it's kind of hard to push on for that next guy. And of course, most of these drivers, I'm sure, seeing these deltas, and at that point, you just gotta figure out how you want to attack and how well you want to push and how hard you want to push, and figure out where the best time to push is. And like you said, when you're all by yourself, your mind isn't truly in it. I do believe it's actually Cal dips into the pit, so Cal going on those softs with 5 laps left.
Yeah, Cal's just covering off, as I said. He owned this race. He owned the strategy. He has 3 seconds penalties, 6 seconds penalties go to the Ferrari. So he had a pit stop in play. Obviously, he's very, very lucky in the computer game that you don't get a sticky front wheel jack. That perhaps could cost you a lead of this race. So in and out very quickly. Good pit stop there. 22.9 there from the McLaren team. They got those tyres on in 2.58 seconds. Easily covered off Asher. 6.2 second gap plus 3. Obviously, Asher nursing penalties. So, and once again, well, the Ferrari drivers tried to bring the pace there this evening, but Cal now.
We do have Exia and Shelby. Exia has caught up to Shelby. He's in that DRS, so I expect a move here in the next couple laps. These drivers are going head to head, trying to pull up the time difference there. It's actually has 9 seconds of penalties, whereas Clean Shelby only has 3, so he's kind of got to build that gap as he's going for it into turn 1. Oh, a little bit of contact there. Not a whole lot, but I believe in your words that it's job done.
His job done all right. But unfortunately, it's not job done when you got a FedEx 9-second penalty slapped on the back of that Mercedes. So if he needs to get the job done, he has, 3 laps really to get a 6-second gap. That's a tall order even for a Mercedes driver this evening, isn't it? But I was just about to tell you that Belsy, don't tell them about the penalties because it will just spoil the surprise this evening. There it is. And there it is. It's got the FedEx penalty award at least here because it's now having 12 seconds. So I want to tell you what, it's going to perhaps finish in a P5 position. But actually, you're going to actually lose out to Kangas because Kangas going to steal that one away from him as well. So he's going to drop back to P6 there. I don't think Javier is going to be too much of a threat for him, but geez, from P4 to P6, at least you get that little FedEx trophy to take home with you from Canada.
FedEx time penalty trophy. I enjoy it.
I'm going to keep doing it. I'm going to keep doing it until FedEx one day to start knocking on the door going, you know what? We will sponsor esports as now Clean Shelby is got to be coming back again. He's just like, I don't know, these drivers are belling it on track, aren't they? Even though they are aware of these penalties, but drivers are drivers, you know that for a fact. They want to be faster. They want to be ahead of somebody on track regardless of penalties.
Yes, it's one of those things that you just kind of want to get that energy over the next guy. Even if you did fall back because of penalties, you want to finish ahead of the driver in front of you. You want to be out in front or just as far up as you can be when you're crossing that line. And something I do want to add while we're on this little battle going on here, I love your creativity, Biggles. You always seem to come up with something different every week. It's just tremendous to see from all these different leagues that, of course, you help in. So shout out to yourself.
Well, thank you very much, sir, for the kind words. I do enjoy this. You know, I'm not a race driver. I'm actually horrendous as a race driver, but you know, I have a lot of fun commentating races, and you know those words. Thank you very much for that. It's meaningful, and you know, if it's the appreciation that it gives people around there, obviously the drivers, because you know as a driver, and I've said this before many times, you put a lot of hours into this stuff, ridiculous amounts of. Yeah. I see you guys online. I have, probably 600 F1 drivers on my friend list on Steam. And every time I have a look at the friend list, I'm like, all these drivers, and you can see you guys in time trials and practicing and open lobbies. So you guys put the effort in. Well, I try to do my best to put the effort in to commentate and make it entertaining because, it is at the end of the day. And it's fun.
Oh, of course. And of course, you see these F1 drivers. I mean, they're on this game. I mean, most of these guys obviously do it for a living, so it is technically their day job. But obviously, you don't want to burn yourself out. But whenever you do get that practice in and try to improve yourself and make yourself a better driver, it's that much more meaningful. And something that I've kind of equated to, because I really enjoy my 5-lapper open lobbies and stuff like that. And even when we do have dirty drivers, obviously I try to keep everything clean as possible. But it goes back to a movie reference from the movie Dodgeball, where it's essentially if you can dodge a wrench, you can dodge a ball. If you can dodge a dirty driver, you can definitely race side by side with the clean driver. And then it's just something. Oh, it was Exia. Axia just, I'm not sure if he got hit. He got another 3-second penalty, but he was dipped into the grass there.
Yeah, not a good day too for the Mercedes driver, and exactly great, fantastic reference there from Dog. I have to watch that movie again. I haven't seen that in a little while there. That's great. But I'll tell you what as well, Belzy, we've only been commentating recently together, only basically in the last month or so.
Yeah,
but your commentary skills are absolutely brilliant. You're getting better and better, and that's like anything. It's like racing. The more experience you do.
Yes, of course.
And I've heard some really nice, you say I come up with some of your references and puns and different things every race. I had a few for you this evening, mate, to give the biggles and the giggles a little bit. So I like that. That's good.
Love it.
That's good.
Love it.
And Kangi and Mexican Clean Shelby. I don't even know who actually Mex. It's just MEX. That's abbreviated for Mexico for me. But anyway. Kanga's making his way up past the Red Bull driver, Clean Shelby. Looked like he was actually ghosted there for a second, but he is back. He's back with a bit of vengeance. But we missed this whole Cal, the winning the race.
I didn't even realize it was last lap.
Oh, Cal's just because Cal's so far up ahead, isn't he? And,
yes, what a wonderful race, bro.
And the Ferrari driver will get that there. Well, I'll tell you, Jack 5, he caught it up, rang it, but 20 laps on those hard tyres will come home there into the P3, the final podium position. Even with those 9 seconds of penalties from the Ferrari driver, it's not going to be enough, isn't it? And Clean Shelby that we mentioned before there usually is a clean driver. I think only 3 seconds penalties. In this race, I'd have to say that's very clean penalties. We'll get you that.
It's not every day that you're waiting on the third podium driver to cross the line as the last car. It's nothing against these drivers. I didn't realize that Caligo and these guys had gotten all the way up there and pretty much lapped everybody up to lap 3.
I'm sure Cal was probably wiggling his steering wheel around like he's trying to warm up his tires in a as Exeter will get your driver of the day. But I'm sure Cal was probably just like driving around like mad, just trying to, swerving like crazy, going, guys, I'm going to cross the line right now and win this race. What are you doing? What are you talking about? Well, guess what? You have won the race, sir, and we're going to show you that podium celebration there. Hold that trophy up. McLaren domination, Cal the GOAT domination. Can anybody at the end of the day just close the fence and park this GOAT into this farm? Because he's just running away with this evening. Absolutely. Ferrari driver tried to do it, couldn't do it. The AlphaTauri driver tried, could not do it. There you go, Belzy. I'm going to go through those results.
Of course, we do got Cal the GOAT, of course, winning this race. And by comfortable margin to that P2 driver of Asher. And our third and final podium spot does go to Jack 5. And then we got Clean Shelby, Cagnus, Exia, and Javier were the remaining cars on track with our 2 DNFs of Cappy and Lil Taquito. And something that I just thought of, and if Caligoat does end up winning this championship, I want to see him chug a little bit of goat's milk.
Oh.
Well,
I tell you what, I wonder if we can actually talk to these drivers about that for some interviews real quick, if you don't mind hanging around for another 5 minutes to see if we can do that. I mean, it's not guaranteed we can do interviews, obviously, because we 9 drivers here. Some of the drivers don't want to talk to us, some drivers do. We'll find out, so don't go anywhere. Otherwise, we will just give you guys a shout out there and end it. But yeah, we'll see. Back in a minute.
And welcome back to Breakout Racing League. We are here with a few drivers for our interviews. We do currently have Exia, Jack 5, and Cagnus, as well as Caligoat actually just joined. I guess we're going to go on board with Cal first, our main. I do believe he is the sitting currently as the number one driver in this championship. Cal, another wonderful drive from you today. And yeah, what was your mindset kind of going through just out there by yourself?
I don't know. It was interesting. I was gonna go for a one stop originally, and I think I had the tire for it, but I saw I don't know how Asher behind me pitting for the softs, so I thought I'd just go behind pit for the softs and then go for the fast lap, and ended up working out.
And yes, of course, those that fast slap you did come in with at the end of the race. Now, of course, your teammate did DNF. I'm not sure if your constructors are really in the way there or not. But again, wonderful race from you. I guess we're gonna go on with, I believe, Jack 5, our next driver up there. Jack,
Hello.
I mean, it was again, it was just kind of one of those races where you're by yourself, and I had mentioned there at the end of the race that not every day that you get to see the last remaining driver is your third podium position.
Yeah.
So yeah, I believe you did one stop. It was that your original plan, or did you just kind of roll with it? And
I didn't know what the strategy would be, because originally I thought it was going to be a dry qualifying, but it wasn't. So I was going to do a one stop, so I went medium hards, just for the safest option.
just for the safest option, of course. And also, I guess the question for all these drivers, penalties. Penalties, of course, being, I'm gonna guess, Wall of Champions. Is that where most of them happened, or it was a few of them somewhere other places?
Second
I
chicane.
actually
Gotcha.
had none there. I had one of the
Oh.
the first chicane.
Yeah,
I've nailed Wall of Champions.
Yeah. Jack 5, and I actually got it right this time, so I'm no longer calling you Jacks. So apologies about that one. So yeah,
it's fine.
you were really looking good because you had no penalties. Obviously, the Ferrari driver had 9 seconds of penalties towards the end there. And at some point, you're looking like you were challenging for that P2. I noticed that there was a virtual safety car that came out pretty late in the race, but nobody elected to box on that. Was that something that went through your mind at all?
No, I was doing fine in the hards. I wasn't intending to go for the P2 slot because at the time it was around 30 seconds ahead, so I didn't think it was worth it to pit for sauce and try to catch up to him.
Well, there you have it. A podium is a podium, isn't it? And
Yeah.
How were those 20 lap hards at the end there? They should have still had pretty grippy, right? I'd imagine.
Oh, I felt fine.
Yeah. You should
Had
slap
no
them
issue
on
with
the
them.
start of the race, and it just went all the whole way. You obviously couldn't, but anyway.
All right.
Good on you, mate.
And I do have a question for Exia next. We were watching you there towards the end of the race. I'm not positive as to what lap it was. I think it was 32, 33. There was a little altercation that ended with you in the grass. Can you tell us what happened there at all? Just, Mike,
Oh,
unmute.
it's
There
just,
you go.
I think it's just tough, hard battling. I mean, you had Clean Shelby on who I don't know how many lap old hards, and then I was trying to get past him, do the amount of penalties that Canada likes to give me, and then you had Cagnus on the softs coming in. It was just hard battling. I think I tried to like break match him at the same time. I think he thought I was probably going to go a lot deeper, so he was going to try to do the undercut. I mean, it happens. So I mean, it's not that. It's a shame, but I mean, then it's on to the next race.
And wise words from there. Now, Cagnus, our last little interviewee here. Be honest, I don't remember a whole lot from watching you. It was one of those races that we didn't really have any safety cars. Of course, we did have that one VSC, but it was one of those races that fully depended on strategy. Now, you did go, I think you two stopped to the softs there at the end. Of course,
Yes, I went soft, mid, soft.
soft, medium stuff. Of course, there at the end, you're just pushing it out as hard as you can, really. And I mean, how was that last stint for you? You definitely did catch a few people, and I believe you improved your position from there.
Well, honestly, I was considering to stay on mediums till the end, 10 more laps, because when I was pitting, I believe my rear mediums was on around 37-40%. So in theory, I should be able to drive them to the end, but I just prefer to avoid the risk of any puncture or anything. So I was hope that my pace will be enough to catch Exia and Shelby in front of me. And about incident with Exia on the grass, I believe, because I was checking my point of view that actually both of us touched the Exia car. So that was unfortunate, and I'm really sorry, Exia, for this. It was really shit move. But honestly, I'm one of the slowest drivers here in this grid. I know that really well, so I'm pretty happy about this race. And finally, I didn't make a huge mistakes that cost me the race, basically.
Well, again, you did finish up there. You did get some points today, so of course it's always a wonderful drive when you get points. Biggles, you got anything to add before we end it?
I once again, I did mention this, like Elvis in a small grid, but it was good to see the battling on track without, say 20 drivers there and multiple safety cars and stuff like that. Just a virtual safety car, so you get to see some real on wheel-to-wheel action. We had a lot of that during the race, which was fantastic. Even though obviously it's a small grid, only 2 retirements as well, but strategies definitely were at play. Penalties always are at play when it comes to Canada. But overall, I mean, I still really thoroughly enjoyed myself. And once again, Belzy, I appreciate you in there. His drivers commit so much day in and day out. And we do thank the Breakout Racing League for allowing us the opportunity to cover this there. And I think that will be it, what I have to say. I'll switch that one over to XR. Obviously, he's the top dog, the league administrator here. Can explain to us when the next race is, what time, the same channel, if we get to what's going to happen to be all sorted out and stuff like that, and et cetera, Exy?
Yeah, the next race is next week, Friday at 10 p.m. Eastern Standard Time. We will be at Austria, a very fast-flowing track. We have had a little bit of issues with our YouTube channel, but we plan on bringing it back to YouTube. I'm going to try to get all that fixed out and everything else like that. And then, hopefully we get a much larger grid here for the race and everything else like that.
Fantastic. Pumping some iron with Arnold Schwarzenegger, the birthplace in Austria.
Yes.
And Toto Wolff as well. So perhaps we'll get them in here into the race. Perhaps we'll get them to talk to us about that in a way. It doesn't. Well, you got to role play, guys. This is a virtual sport. So
yes,
thank you very much, Belzy. Any last words there? We'll wrap this one up.
Just thank you for having me. Again, thank you to Exia for allowing us to do this. It's always fun commentating alongside you, Biggles, and definitely appreciate the kind words.
All right, that's it. Good night. Obviously, please stay safe, everybody. Take care. Same place, same network, same time next week. Goodbye.